Hello, good day, and you're welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. My name is Oluchi Ogunye. So today our topic is to JAPA or not to JAPA. Now, JAPA is actually a word that means to run away. It's a Nigerian language, that's the Yoruba language, and means to run away. And it's just a slang that came into play over the past few years because it was realized that a lot of people are actually leaving the shores of Nigeria, going out to find, as it were, greener pastures in other countries. People who are just generally got tired of the situation in the country, and they want to do better, and they, for themselves. That is what they see, that is their heart desire, and then they decide to leave the country. So today we're just going to be talking about the positive benefits of JAPA and what could be the negative consequences of JAPA, so that if you are thinking of JAPAing, that is running away, or maybe you've already JAPA'd, you might put these things into play and weigh the pros and cons, and then actually make an informed decision. So there are positive reasons why people travel abroad. The first one is money. Money. Even the Bible says money answers everything. Money answers all things. And a lot of times people want to travel out of the country because they want their remuneration to increase. They want to earn in hard currency, like we call it, in a different, more stable currency. And when they get better jobs or better opportunities, they decide to leave. Okay, and money, of course, is a very important factor. We all need money to survive. So let's say money has 100 points, right? Okay, so we're on 100. Now the second reason why people want to JAPA is because of social amenities. So here in Nigeria, there's actually a challenge with a lot of social amenities. If it has to do with power supply, it's very erratic, very unstable. A lot of people don't have power supply, a lot of times. What about water? Except you source for your own water, dig a borehole, finding water can be a challenge and can be expensive. What about our roads? Many of our roads are actually could be in better state, and so a whole lot of that it comes into play. So people are just tired, and they're just like want out. We want to go to a place where we switch on the light and there is light, where we put on the tap and there is water. And so because of that desire for better amenities, they decide to JAPA. Okay, so this desire is actually a very valid desire, so we're going to give it like 50. So we're at 100 plus 50, which is 150. Okay, the third reason why people JAPA is that they want better opportunities, better career opportunities, better education opportunities, both for themselves and for their children. And of course, it's actually a very valid reason, because we know that a lot of Western nations are very much advanced in their academics, very much advanced in what they do. So you wanting to be part of that experience, wanting to do a bit better for yourself, and wanting your children to get educated is actually a good reason to JAPA. So that's one of the reasons why. So should we give that maybe a 52? Okay, so that's 50. So 100 plus 50 plus 50, so we're at a 200. We're on positive. Now, one of the last reasons why people JAPA is because of security. So within our nation, we've actually had challenges in recent years, especially with security. Okay, there's a lot of unknown gunmen, a lot of banditry, terrorism, people getting killed, people getting kidnapped, and people are tired of the situation. Like, they're just like, we are tired, we don't want to be unsafe. And it's not like everywhere is totally safe, even when you travel out of the country, but people believe that there's a level of safety there that is not found here, and that's one of the reasons why people JAPA. So that is a very important reason. Security of life is important, so we can even give it 100. So we're at 100 plus 50 plus 50 plus 100, which is at 200. And that is, so that we're still on the positives. And I must say, I was mentioned as part of amenities that health too. People want better access to healthcare, so that is actually part of the amenities that people want to have access to. So we're at a 200. However, I want to talk about the negatives. And now the first thing I want to talk about is social support. Okay, social support and social interaction. Now the truth is that many times when people travel to these nations, Okay, let me start from Nigeria. Okay, in Nigeria, the truth is that everybody's business. There's always this cousin that keeps calling. There's this auntie that wants to stay with you. Your mom and dad are a phone call and a few meters away many times, and all of that. So there is this family support. There's this social network that is there. Even in church, everybody's in everybody's business, and somehow there is this, close knitness and all of that. But many people find that by the time they leave the country and go to the shores of other countries, that social support, that social system isn't really there. Many times people in these countries, they just want to mind their business. Everybody is facing their front. You're in the bus, everybody's quiet and all of that. And even finding support at home, friendships, and family members to lean on, to help out in time of need, in time of health crisis, in times of whatever it is. Sometimes it's difficult when you're in a strange land, and you find a lot of people who have JAPA'd crying out for loneliness. Oh, I'm lonely. Oh, I don't have friends. Oh, I miss my family and all of that. So social support is actually, something that sometimes maybe missing or maybe deficient when people travel out of the country. So that is something that we should consider. So let's give that maybe a -30. Okay, so -30 from our 200, so we're still at 170, which is fine. Now another thing that one should consider is in raising children, bringing up children. Now there's right here in Nigeria, there are some values that you might hold on to. There are some things that you're teaching your children. There's some values that generally permeates the environment. I mean, we're a bit more conservative here, but by the time you go abroad, you JAPA, you may find out that it's not really in your control anymore. The things that they are taught, the things they are exposed to at school, the values that they are taught, and many times the values, the things that they are taught, the things that is imputed into them may not align with your own values. You're not allowing your own values. So you find out that your child is coming back. If you're the type that doesn't interact with your child, you may not even have an idea that child is being taught such things that you do not approve of. But maybe you're the type that interacts with your child, and a child comes and tells you, oh, they told me this, and then you have to counter it, and they told me this, and you have to counter it. And that environment that the child is in, that fosters values that are not your values, becomes a challenge. And so you find out that raising children in some of these nations may actually be challenging, be more challenging than you might even consider or you might even expect. So it's something worth considering, that do I think that I will be able to raise my children properly according to my own values. Now the third thing that one should actually consider is marriage. Sometimes JAPA separates people. Okay, sometimes the man goes ahead and says, okay, I'm going ahead to prepare the family, and he's there for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and things are not happening the way they should, and you find out that the family begins to drift away. The spouse become like strangers. The children do not recognize their parents or the parent on the other side anymore. You understand? So when you're thinking of the JAPA thing, always think about the effect it has as a family, and always consider that it's better for you to be together wherever it is that you decide to be. You be together, and don't allow the JAPA syndrome to separate and to divide your family as much as possible, as much as you can help. Now the final thing I want to talk about is most important. Okay, so if we're giving the family thing, let's rate it a 30, okay, and then we're subtracting. Well, we're still on the positives. We still have a huge number left. But the final thing I want to talk about, okay, is fulfilling your purpose. Now that's the most important thing, regardless of every other thing we've talked about. Now location is very, very key to destiny, and location is very, very key to fulfilling your purpose on earth. Okay, you will actually accomplish a totally different set of things, meet a different set of people if you're in one place compared to if you're in another place. And your location determines a lot about what you become in life. Now the most important thing in your life is purpose. So you need to ask God, yes, there's a bandwagon of everybody going abroad to enjoy the money, to enjoy the education, to enjoy the amenities, but is this actually where you want me to be? Is this where you have located? Is this where my assignment is located? Is this where you want me to fulfill my purpose in you? Now let's take Abraham and Lot, for example, they were together, they were living together, they were, staying together. But a time came when they had to separate, and then Lot was asked to choose first. And he looked, he saw a very green land, and he thought, oh, this place is very lush, it will be very good and all that. But from the moment he made that decision, he thought he was going into, a promised land, as it were. We find out that he begins to get into trouble. He lives in a sinful land. He's trying to keep himself, and he starts, God comes to destroy that place. He's running away. His wife is changed to a pillar of salt. He himself finally sleeps with his daughters and, produces illegitimate children. Like, his location actually kind of destroyed his destiny, because he couldn't become what he probably should have been. However, Abraham, because he decided to stay where God had placed him, we can see that even till today we're calling Abraham's name. What about Ruth and Orpah, we talk about in the Bible? So they had a mother-in-law called Naomi. Naomi was going back to her homeland. She was going back to where the Israelites were, who served God. And these her two daughters-in-law were following her, but she told them to go back. And of course, Orpah went back. Until today, nobody knows what happened to Orpah. But because Ruth decided to follow her mother-in-law to be in that same location, we find out that even today we're still telling her story, and she became part of the genealogy of Christ. So what am I trying to say? The location matters in life. It doesn't matter what you see with your physical eyes, the positives that you see with your physical eyes. You need to pray and ask God, because if you miss it in destiny, that's a whole minus 100,000. Okay, so no matter how many positives you have, you end up in a negative, because God doesn't even recognize you for where you're at, because you're not fulfilling what He wants you to do. So I want to encourage you. Yes, JAPA is has very good prospects. Yes, the thought of JAPA makes us happy. We want to be comfortable, but sit down, listen to your heart, pray to God, ask Him for His purpose in your life. Ask Him to direct you. Don't make a decision based on just your head knowledge, based on what you see, but go to God in prayer and ask Him to help you to make the right decision, so that He will be found in His own purpose for your life. So I want to say thank you for watching today's video. I believe that you have learned something, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.